y'all tonight. I'm Monty Fritts. I've started the process of applying to 7 million people to be the governor of the state of Tennessee. I want to tell you just a little bit about myself, and I'm going to try to cut myself short tonight by using the card that's laying on your table. I want to talk to you about liberty and less government in Tennessee. And I think that all things in life must be defined first on what thus saith the Lord. And liberty, according to 2 Corinthians 3:17, it says, where the Spirit of the Lord is, there's liberty. I think that's a beautiful thing, Mitch. I think it's beautiful that we stand as free moral agents before Almighty God, our fellow man, and civil government. And we get the opportunity to choose to do the right thing or the wrong thing, to do good things or bad things. And we get the reward or the consequences of our choices. And that's liberty. That means sometimes we need to take a little bit of the government influence out of things. And that's where we get to the less government part. As a Christian, I became a Christian as a young boy about 53 years ago at First Baptist Church in Rockwood, Tennessee, where I go today. God began to work and instill in me an ethic to drive, to achieve, and try to do the right thing. And I've messed that up a bunch of times. I don't know about you all, but He's still working on me. And as you see that next word past Christian, you see constitutional. And it makes me a little bit sad sometimes because some of the things we've allowed to happen, we live in the greatest, I agree with Glenn and John, we live in the greatest place that God ever created. There just ain't anything close. But we can be so much better. Because of some of the actions that we have allowed to take place in the last couple of years, missed decisions, school vouchers, today that Christian constitutional gives me a little trouble because we're using your tax dollars to teach Sharia law in Islamic schools in the state of Tennessee. Did you all realize that? As your governor, I'm going to suspend that voucher scam that we bought into. I voted against it. It was unconstitutional, and I'll end it. You got my commitment to do that as a governor of the state of Tennessee. The constitutional part's important to me. I happen to get a pretty good score from the John Birch Society. This past year I got 100. I have a lifetime score of 94. I think that's pretty good when you compare it to most of my colleagues that are running for this office that score in the 60s and 70s. I think I'm holding much closer to that Constitution than what they have. I would encourage them to do better. While we've been working on budget issues in the United States Congress, I had the opportunity over my work career to work my way up and found myself under Trump 45 as the Material Recovery and Recycle Program Manager for the federal government, the uranium, tritium, plutonium streams in our Department of Energy. And had the opportunity to set up the Office of Stockpile Production Integration while Trump 45 was in office. My primary goal was to remove a $250 million line item in the federal government that allowed another layer of no. While my colleagues in Congress were raising our debt limit, I was working on cutting that $250 million out. We were able to remove that $250 million line item and all those no's that went along with it, those inefficiencies in the expenditure of your federal tax dollars, and get them back into something more programmatically aligned. I was happy to get to do that. I bring that same fiscal conservatism to my thought as a state representative and will as a governor. Over the past 6 years, we've seen our budget in the state of Tennessee, the budget request, go from $37.5 billion to $59.5 billion in 6 years. My friends, we have a balanced budget. I'm so proud of that. But what troubles me is that budget growth of 59% in 6 years is not sustainable long term. Your governor must only submit budget requests for things that are the essential forms and functions of government in the state of Tennessee and in alignment with the Constitution. Last thing I'll mention on the Constitution. We've gone the wrong way in Tennessee on your firearms rights. I'm an avid Second Amendment supporter. There was a group of people from West Tennessee just sued the governor, the attorney general, and Jeff Long, the commissioner of safety, to remove 154-year-old Jim Crow language from Tennessee code. That language says intent to go armed. My friends, what that basically does to you is it makes you a criminal until you can prove your innocence. Does that seem upside down to you all? It does to me. That 3-judge panel for that Chancery Court ruled those words unconstitutional. You had about $250,000 of your tax dollars spent by the defendants in that case, the governor, the attorney general, and Jeff Long, to fight against your rights. After that court ruled, they decided they were going to appeal that decision. And so we're going to spend more of your tax dollars trying to restrain your Second Amendment rights. I think that's a constitutional apostasy. I've spoke up against it. I've talked against it. And I will promise you, as governor of the state of Tennessee, you will have true constitutional carry and not some scam that they've offered you to this point. You have my promise for that. As I close, I want to tell you this, as a conservative Republican, I think our best days in Tennessee are ahead of us. But I think it's going to require us to take a liberty and less government approach. I think we're going to have to stop the corporate welfare that we've become accustomed to doling out. It troubles me that the other folks that are running for this office are not speaking against the budget growth